welcome back to my channel. Before we get into the topic of this video, which is imposter syndrome and tips to deal with that as a software engineer, I just want to give a huge thank you to all of you that showed support on my last video, which was the day in the life of a software engineer in New York. When I started this channel back in May, I did not, in my wildest imagination, think I would get 34,000 views on a video or gain as many subscribers I have on my channel so far. So I just want to say I really appreciate all the support, and it really is a lot of motivation for me to keep going, so thank you again. For my new subscribers who may not know who I am, as well as any new viewers that are tuning into this, my name is Geet and I'm a software engineer based out of the greater New York City area. I make content around software engineering, computer science, and stuff related to that field, as well as daily vlog types of videos and videos of some of my hobbies that I do in my off time, such as photography and videography. If any of that interests you, definitely subscribe and turn on notifications. If you're interested in what I do outside of work, definitely give my Instagram a follow. That's where I post a lot of my photography and videography content, as well as stories about my day-to-day life. So if any of that interests you, definitely go check that out. Without further ado, let's get into the topic of this video, which is imposter syndrome and how to deal with it as a software engineer. I believe it's important to first define what imposter syndrome is. In my opinion, imposter syndrome is a mentality or feeling of not belonging in a position that I'm in because of a doubt of my skills and talent, although that may not necessarily be the case. According to the internet, imposter syndrome is defined as, let me just grab my definition here, a psychological occurrence in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, or accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud, or the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. In short, feeling like you don't deserve the success that you've gotten and doubting your own skills and achievements. This is definitely a feeling that a lot of people, if not all people, go through, and I'm certainly no stranger to this. In my experience, imposter syndrome is something that comes and goes along with big events in your life. For me, so far, I've had 3 such events. My first event was my first big internship after my junior year of college. My second event was starting my job right after grad. And my third event was just this past year when I joined Amazon. All 3 events were accompanied with the same kind of feeling, which is pretty much me feeling like I didn't deserve the job that I had gotten and that I just wasn't skilled enough to be able to succeed. Simply put, I felt like I was too dumb and that I just somehow got lucky. What contributed to this feeling were things like having to work with massive new code bases, being exposed to new internal and open source technologies that I had never seen before nor had any experience with, working on really big global teams with a lot of smart engineers with 5, 10, 15 years of experience, having one-on-ones with these engineers and realizing that they are a lot smarter than I am right now, having the urge to ask a lot of questions just because I didn't feel like I knew enough, and being in situations where I was the only junior developer on the team. Honestly, to summarize, just being in a situation where I felt like everyone around me was a lot more knowledgeable than I was, and somehow I would never be able to get up to that level. Honestly, I still go through bouts of imposter syndrome today. Anytime I'm handed a new task that I don't have experience with, or I have to work with something I don't have experience with, that feeling kind of comes back. But with every event of imposter syndrome that I've experienced, I've definitely pulled away learnings from the end of each and applied them to the next experience so that it doesn't last as long. And that's what I want to share with all of you today. To answer the initial question, that's the elephant in the room, is it possible to ever completely get over imposter syndrome and never have it again? In my opinion, the answer to that is no. However, you can reduce the extent to which it affects you. And here's how you can do that. The first thing that you could do, and that I've done myself, is think back to all that you've done to prepare for this moment. This isn't a fluke, and luck only comes to those who are prepared. So no matter how out of depth you may feel, just remember that you are prepared for this situation. I mean, if you think about it, even someone who wins the lottery has to get up and go buy a lottery ticket. That person had to prepare somehow. Hopefully that analogy makes sense. All I'm trying to say is that you're prepared for the situation and you are prepared to succeed because of all the work that you've done leading up to this moment. The second thing to remind yourself is that you went through a pretty intensive interview process and succeeded through all of that. So you deserve to be where you are right now. All companies spend a ton of money to ensure that they are not hiring the wrong candidates. So you succeeding in your interview is just confirmation of your ability to succeed in the role that you were hired for. So never doubt your skills or your talents. You were hired for a reason. The next way to deal with imposter syndrome, specifically the feeling of not being knowledgeable enough, is to just take a deep breath and dive in. Everyone has been in a situation where they don't currently have the knowledge to accomplish a certain task. All it takes is a willingness to learn and be curious to build that knowledge up. As you learn more, the more capable you will be of accomplishing tasks, and the more your knowledge level will align with your peers who you initially thought had more experience than you. The last thing I would suggest is just ask questions. I know there's a stigma around asking questions and feeling like you don't want to bug or nag people for information. I go through that all the time, but the easiest way to learn is to honestly ask people who have done all the work and research for you and can just impart the knowledge onto you. So take advantage of that. This will further your knowledge and again put you on par with your peers who you initially thought were more knowledgeable than you. To sum up, everyone experiences imposter syndrome and experiences it periodically. It's not just a new grad hire thing. With more experience, it gets easier to handle, and hopefully the tips I've shared with you today will help you in that process of making imposter syndrome easier to handle. Just remember to remind yourself that you deserve all the successes that have come your way and that will come your way, and that you have the skills and talents to achieve whatever you want, or you have the ability to gain the skills and talents that you need to achieve whatever comes your way. I really hope this information helps you out with any bouts of imposter syndrome that you're currently feeling or may come your way in the future. If this video helped you out, definitely please like and subscribe. Also turn on notifications to know when I next upload videos. I'll soon be posting a week in the life type video of my trip to Chicago. My team recently had an offsite there, and I tried to record a lot of cool, interesting things that I did over there, along with some footage from the office. So definitely stay tuned for that. And again, check out my Instagram if you're interested in my daily life outside of work. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time.